This is the second part of my discussions on Balachandran Chullikkad and his poem Where is John? In the first part, I gave you a brief introduction to the poet Chullikkad. I spoke about some of his popular poems as well as poetry collections. I also listed some of his important popular movies. I spoke about the tone and imageries that he inculcated into his earlier poems as well as his later poems. And the poem that we are discussing is Where is John? It was written in 1988, and in it Chullikkad conveys his despair and grief over the loss of the radical filmmaker John Abraham. John Abraham passed away in 1987, and this poem was written in 1988. The poem that we are discussing has been taken from the collection Manasandaram. In this poem, Chullikkad uses the memory of the premature death of the filmmaker John Abraham as an occasion for airing the poet's sense of despair with the contemporary forms of social practice, including those of radical political practice, which do not lead to deep and meaningful relationships between individuals. So, at the superficial level, this seems like a discussion, a sharing of Chullikkad's grief, but at the internal level, inside, it is a discussion of how the present system does not contribute much towards bonding individuals. I hope you are clear with the first three parts of the poem. In this video lesson, I will be discussing the remaining parts. Let's begin with part 4. The familiar liquor shop. I asked the fellow who supplies that holy water of hell, "Did John come here today?" An acquaintance offers a glass and laughs aloud. "Hey poet, where were you all these days? Drink up, this is the devil's blood." John was here in the middle of a bohemian song. I don't know when he faltered, stopped, and walked off. Who are his keepers? We people? Dazed, I cough a mouthful of arak neat. Down my throat courses the mercury, burning and fuming. The familiar liquor shop. So after reading the first three parts of the poem, we understand that the poet is in search of this filmmaker. He is in search of this person who has been christened John. At first, he goes to house number 20 where Maria is. He asks her where John is, and the reply is that she is not his keeper, and she asks him to leave. The second place that the poet visits to seek this man is the familiar liquor shop, and the use of the adjective familiar shows us that this is a place that they have frequented. Either the poet has frequented or John Abraham has frequented. As we know, he was an eccentric character. John Abraham was an eccentric character. He was a radical filmmaker. He did not conform to the norms of the society, and therefore it is not a matter of great surprise when Chullikkad says that the liquor shop was familiar to the poet or to the filmmaker. The familiar liquor shop. I asked the fellow who supplies that holy water of hell. Look at how liquor is described. Liquor is described as that holy water of hell. Probably hell refers to the city that Chullikkad lives, to the place that is being described in the poem. And liquor is described as a holy water, something that gives you solace, something that blesses you, something that takes out all that is ill in you, all the sins in you. That holy water of hell Did John come here today? So this is the query that he makes to the fellow who supplies liquor. Did John come here today? An acquaintance offers a glass and laughs aloud. An acquaintance means a person who is familiar to you. He isn't a great friend of yours, a very close friend of yours, but you are familiar with him. An acquaintance offers a glass. So the acquaintance offers the poet a glass of liquor, and he laughs aloud. Hey poet, where were you all these days? Drink up, this is the devil's blood. So you have something like the Christian allusions coming over here. He says, this is the devil's blood. You are reminded of Jesus Christ wordings when he says that this is my blood and take it in remembrance of me. So you have such references and allusions coming over here. So the acquaintance says here, where were you all these days? I did not see you for a long time. So where were you all these days? Drink this and give me some company. And he too describes liquor as devil's blood. And he says John was here in the middle of a bohemian song. Bohemian means unconventional, something which does not restrict itself to the conventions, accepted norms. So he was in the middle of a bohemian song. And the acquaintance says, I don't know when he faltered. Faltered means to become weak. So I don't know when he faltered, stopped and walked off. So the acquaintance says that he was here. He was in this liquor shop. But he did not notice him leaving. He did not notice him going from this place. I don't know when he faltered, stopped and walked off. Who are his keepers? We people. And he asked the question again, who are his keepers? And this is the same question that Maria asked, but in a different way. She said that I am not his keeper. Here the acquaintance says that who are his keepers? We people. And it indirectly says that probably it's a rhetorical question. It indirectly gives us the statement then that they are not his keepers, and he is probably giving the same response that Maria gave in the previous part. And the poet is dazed and he coughs a mouthful of arrack neat. Cough means to swallow hurriedly, to take in a hurry manner. I quaff a mouthful of arrack neat. Arrack is liquor. You might have heard of the Malayalam term charayam. That is probably what the poet meant by the term arrack. In this context, it might be liquor, as we had the term liquor in the very first line of this part. Dazed, I cough a mouthful of arrack neat. Pure arrack, that is what the poet means by the expression arrack neat, without adding water. Down my throat courses the mercury. The mercury, the liquid, goes down my throat. The journey, the path of the liquor is being described. Down my throat courses the mercury, burning and fuming. So in the final lines of this part, he describes how the arrack, the liquor, goes down his throat. Let's move into part 5. Let us read part 5 of the poem. In the old lodge, a friend sleeps, covered by a mosquito net. I knock at the door. Have you seen John? Why the hell are you here? To ruin me yet again? I loathe the mucky past. My room is out of bound for geniuses. No more can I brook their serpent-like presence. Don't darken these stairs anymore. I am not John's keeper. I descend the stairs, flowers of lime scorching my sinews. In the old lodge, a friend sleeps covered by a mosquito net. So this is the third place that the poet goes in search of the character John Abraham. At first he went to house number 20, where he meets Maria. The second place that he goes to is the liquor shop. He did not get a response. They too said that they aren't John's keeper, so he had to leave from that place. And the third place that he visits in search of John is an old lodge. And there a friend sleeps covered by a mosquito net. He knocks at the door and he asks, "Have you seen John?" But what he gets is a very strange and angry response from the person. He says, "Why the hell are you here?" So the person, the friend who is at the lodge, is not at all happy about the poet's return. He says, "Why the hell are you here? To ruin me yet again? Have you come back to destroy me? To destroy my life?" He continues, "I loathe the mucky past." Loathe means I hate, detest. So I hate the mucky past, the messed up past, the dirty past. I loathe the mucky past. My room is out of bounds for geniuses. Out of bounds is an expression that means barred or close to a particular group, and which is the group which the person refers to, geniuses. So I have closed my doors for geniuses. Probably he is the lodge keeper or the innkeeper, and he has closed the doors for geniuses. No more can I brook. Brook means to put up with something or somebody, to have patience for. So the person does not have patience for geniuses, and therefore his room is out of bounds for geniuses. No more can I brook their serpent-like presence. So you actually have a simile over there. Their presence, the genius's presence, is compared to the presence of serpents. And this is why I said that the response is very strange. This is a place where geniuses are not welcome, very much unconventional. Normally geniuses are welcome everywhere, but right now what we are reading is that we are in a location where geniuses are not welcome, and geniuses have caused the destruction of a person. And that is why he asks, "Why the hell are you here? To ruin me yet again? Don't darken these stairs anymore." So this is the request that the person makes to the poet. Don't darken these stairs anymore. I am not John's keeper. So he too gives the same response that Maria and the acquaintance at the liquor shop gave. Don't darken these stairs anymore. I am not John's keeper. So the poet has to return from that place. I descend the stairs, flowers of lime scorching my sinews. Lime, as you know, is lime tree, and probably the poet is talking about the burning sensation that he is feeling inside. He is in search of the man named John, and no matter whom he asks, the reply that he gets is that he or she is not the custodian of John. So he is not getting an answer so far. He hasn't got an answer so far. Let's go to part 6. Midnight streets deserted, a chill wind blows, bells toll in distant churches like tragic memories. A flash of thunder suddenly roars. Where is John? From mere dust screams a loud human blood. I stumble. Words burst out tearing my throat apart. I do not know him, O God. O God, his keeper, I am not. Midnight streets deserted. So you have an image of the street. Earlier, the image of the street was one that of a crowded one. You had so many formless, fractured forms walking everywhere in the street, and the street was described as a river of fractured forms, river of figures, sorry. So as of now, the streets are empty. There is no one on the street now. Midnight streets deserted, a chill wind blows, bells toll in a distant churches like tragic memories. So probably it's in this stanza that we understand that the poet has a sort of a realization of what has actually happened to John. Bells toll in distant churches like tragic memories. So the sound of the bells bring to him the tragic memories. Probably that reminds of him of the fact that John has passed away. A flash of thunder suddenly roars. So there is a thunder, a sudden thunder, and and for the poet, he feels that the thunder was actually a question: where is John? From mere dust screams aloud human blood. So from where does he get the response to that question? From the dust. And in dust is human blood, which means that in dust is John Abraham. He has returned to dust. From mere dust screams aloud human blood. I stumble. Stumble means to nearly fall. Probably that is when the realization struck him that John has died. That is when he stumbles. Words burst out, tearing my throat apart. And these are the words that come out of him. I did not know him, O God, his keeper I am not. So probably the poet is asserting the fact that God is his keeper and he is not. Perhaps he is also intending at the fact that there is this question coming from sky, coming from heaven, coming from God, that asking where is John, and he gives that reply which all the others have been giving him earlier. He tells God that he is not his keeper and that you are his keeper. Let's move to the last part of this poem, which is part 7. The soul shivers here, the flesh grows numb, here in this cemetery where blackened snow falls on the brow of the concrete crow's night, where, O John, is the grail of your heart brimming with sulphuric acid, where near this empty tomb is your naked flame that has shrugged off the smoke shroud in a burning brotherhood, where the soul shivers here. So as of now, the location has changed. The poet has moved into that place where John actually is. The soul shivers here, the flesh grows numb here in this cemetery. So we understand that the poet has come to the cemetery and he says the soul shivers here. He might either be talking of the dead person's soul or of himself, his own soul. And the soul shivers here. The flesh grows numb. Again, it might be the lack of sensation that he is feeling at present, or the dead condition of a person. When all of your body becomes numb, it lacks sensation. The flesh grows numb here in this cemetery where blackened snow falls. So even the snow is being attributed with his grief. It is described by using the color black, and black, as you know, it symbolizes grief. Where blackened snow falls on the brow of the concrete crow's neck. Brow is the topmost part, and you have the imagery of snow falling on the topmost part of the cross, which is kept in the cemetery. Where, O John, is the grail of your heart brimming with sulphuric acid. He asks John, is the grail of your heart brimming with sulphuric acid? Grail means chalice. Chalice is a bowl-shaped drinking vessel. Have you drank life to its fullest? Have you taken in what you wanted? Was it overflowing that you left me, that you left this world? Had you taken more of your life? Now he's asking questions to the dead person. Where, O John, is the grail of your heart brimming with sulphuric acid? Where near this empty tomb is your naked flame. Naked flame probably refers to the high-spirited nature that was visible to everyone, the high-spirited nature of John, the filmmaker. Is your naked flame that has shrugged off the smoke shroud? Now the shroud refers to the burial garment. The naked flame that has shrugged off the smoke shroud in a burning brotherhood. Probably the poet is trying to convey that John has thrown away the bond of friendship that he shared with Balachandran Chullikkad, and it's probably the untimely death of John Abraham that makes Chullikkad says this. that whether he has thrown away that garment of friendship that he used to wear, and where. And finally he leaves us with this question, where. So where is actually this person, and where is that bond that you shared with me? And as I said earlier, this poem is also a deep contemplation on the lack of deep and meaningful relationship between individuals in a society, in probably in the modern society. So he asks this question, he ends the poem with this question, where can you see that deep and meaningful relationships? And he shared a close relationship with John Abraham, and that is why he feels this grief for the person. That is why he feels sorrow, because the person has departed, and he cannot see this in the streets, which is more or less like a river of fractured forms. His eyes lacks clarity, his eyes lack vision of that place where everyone shares a deep bond with others in the society, with other forms in the society, as the poet says. So this poem is not only a discussion of the poet's grief, but also a discussion of the delicate relationship between people probably living in the present society. With that, we come to the end of this video lesson. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a complete understanding regarding the poet Balachandran Chullikkad and his poem Where is John? If you haven't watched the first part of my discussions on this poem, please do watch it. I will see you in the next video lesson. Thank you.